Mary Jones, thanks for joining us. We're here to talk about Shooting for Socrates, which opens in cinemas across the UK. Very exciting. We see behind us here, here's Tommy, the young kid from East Belfast, who has his 10th birthday. And I was Tommy back in the day because here we are, Mary. Here we are.
Oh no, you got it. Is that yours?
This is mine.
Did you get it filled up?
Yes, I filled it all up. And here is the Northern Ireland team from 1986. Here they are.
That is amazing.
Yeah, here they are. Here they are. Now,
So exciting.
tell me, Murray, why did you want to make a film about this team? You're the screenwriter of this, of course. So tell us why you wanted to write this.
Well, I'll tell you the genesis of it very quickly. The producer, the producer director, James Erskine, was on a boat in Cannes, as you do be.
Yes.
And he met David Campbell. Yes. David Campbell, who played for Northern Ireland, was also part of a movie syndicate. And he was on the boat with James, promoting some other kind of film. And they had a conversation, and he told him about the World Cup in 1986. And James said, "But that's a great story. But the smallest country in the world qualifying for the World Cup and taking on the giants of Brazil, biggest country in the world." He said, "That must have been an amazing journey." So anyway, James then comes back to my agent, who's also his agent.
Yeah.
And he said, "This is what I want to do. I want to tell this story." And my agent said, "Well, if you want to tell that story, you have to have a dramatist, because James's background was in documentary sports movies." And he said, "You need a dramatist, and you have to go to Mary," because he assumed I knew everything about football because I'd written a play about Night November. So I understood kind of the whole excitement around football and what it means to people and what it means the national team. And so that's how it happened. So James came to me and said, "Would I like to do the story?" And I said, "Absolutely, yes." I loved it because I remember it in 1986 and I knew nothing about football then.
This is what I was doing in 1986. Okay, I was filling in my Panini album. But what were you doing in 1986?
In 1986, I formed a theatre company in 1983. So I said by 1986 we were travelling around the world. Not around the world. Sounds like it was a very successful theatre company, but it was the first of its kind. It was the first community theatre company, and I kind of like around the rest of the world. We were very, if you use the word sexy, if you know what I mean. It was the middle of the Troubles. We were a theatre company. We were dealing with the political issues at the time, but in a very kind of domestic way. We were all women, but that was by chance rather than design. So people wanted to hear what we wanted to say. So we were getting invited to festivals all around. We went to Soviet Union, and actually it was Leningrad then at the time, and Moscow and Vilnius, and coast to coast America. So we were kind of like flavour of the month in our wee play. So that's what I was doing in 1986. I was I was launching myself on the world.
Now, obviously, the film Shooting for Socrates is the story of the Northern Ireland football team. And we also see, of course, legendary BBC commentator Jackie Fullerton. But it's also a family story. So tell us about who we see behind here and why it was important to have the family in this film.
I just think, like in any story, you can have what happens globally around and what's the bigger story. But I think the smaller story, if it's seen through the eyes of the people that matters to them, I think it's just a better way as a dramatist for me to explore it. This is wee Tommy. He's just 10, and this is his daddy and his mummy. And the film starts before Northern Ireland qualify. And the kid is into his Panini books, but he's not interested in anybody. It's Panini. Is that a Panini, right?
That's a Panini.
Panini book. He's not interested at all in Northern Ireland because, in his words, Northern Ireland never get anywhere. Yes. So he's trying to swap all his ones. I've got two Sammy McElroys. Who wants him? He's really into all the big teams in the world. His dad says, "You never know, you never know." So and during all this, it's the political turmoil here, and also back in Brazil when they're fighting for democracy. So you have two countries in this kind of political turmoil with these two national teams going for something that is, hugely important to everybody, whatever their political persuasion. So eventually, as time goes on and Northern Ireland qualify, the kid gets really, really excited and really into following the team with his dad. And his dad is trying to teach him about I think the understanding and compassion and believing in yourself and believing that, you know, things can happen. And because what has happened at the time, the kid's in the middle of the trouble. He's asking his dad questions about what has happened. So why are people fighting each other? So he's always trying to use analogies and he wants them to believe in something. So he gets really behind the football team, and so it's hit their journey and the journey of the team together. And even though they don't, well, as everybody knows, they didn't win in the end. I just think it's a great journey. So you follow the journey of the team and the family and the story of the kid.
Now, what is it about sport, do you think, that makes such great drama? I mean, you look at this and it is brilliant drama, but what is it about sport, about football, that makes such great drama?
Well, since I probably about the last 15 years, when my elder son encouraged me to go back to watching Northern Ireland after I wrote a play called Night November, which was very critical of the sectarianism that comes from being in that large crowd at a football team, particularly in Northern Ireland. And then the fans themselves decided this is not good enough. So they did it. There was a big campaign to take sectarianism out of football. So I thought, well, I've got to go back again. So I went back again to that big arena, and it is full of drama. It has got everything going for it. It's funny, it's dramatic, it's exciting, it's got a community spirit, taking away all that sectarianism. And I know people are still frightened of going. It's just an amazing, exciting event where you get all these all people. I don't know, something about everybody sat there cheering and doing the bouncy. You just go, this is just great fun. It's pure escapism as well, and it was just a great. I think it's got all the elements of great drama.
A great humour.
Oh yes, it's amazing. I mean, it's incredible.
Some of the things that are said at football matches we couldn't say here.
You couldn't repeat it. They are hilarious, and sometimes it's just one. I mean, sometimes they are just so politically on side. You go, oh no! And I remember, like at 7 or 8, or my son David. Okay, can I say it? Like I said, you know, when the other goalkeeper's kicking the ball, to go, yeah. And he's 7, but it seemed like it was okay.
Now, Mary, the challenge of writing a screenplay as opposed to writing a stage play. I mean, hugely successful at writing plays, Stones in His Pockets, Broadway, West End, all of that. But what is it like to write a film? What is the difference?
Well, the difference is where I would always dialogue is the only thing you have in a play, but in film you've got pictures. So sometimes pictures can say more than the words, and you know, James will always say less is more, less is more. Where in theatre, words are just like everything you need. You can convey with lights and sound, but really it's the dialogue, it's the words, it's the interaction between 2 people, 3 or 4 people. But in this, you can use all those filmic things, as you know, with the sound and just images, and you can say so much. I had to learn that because I had to cut half of it, and I go, but sure, there's great light. Don't be cutting those lights. They're brilliant. Yeah, but you don't need them.
Yeah.
And so it was hard for me at first to go, oh, that's a shame. You know, I wanted this kind of great, kind of like earthy dialogue. With the footballers, I would have had them. I would have had a full scene with them wisecracking across the. I mean, I still love dialogue in films, and I hate it when it's just too esoteric and go, what's that all about? I missed that image, but I think we had a good compromise where sometimes I go, no, we need to get a bit of crack going here, because the whole thing about it, if you talk, I mean, we interview quite a lot of these guys here, and they constantly talked about the humor and the crack. You needed to see it, you know. We needed to feel part of it, and the crack between the humor between Jackie Fullerton and the crew that went out with them. It just seemed to be they just were full of that, and we needed to have some of it.
Well, here's the Northern Ireland team from 1986.
Look at you, your sticker album.
Now, here's the thing. Now, who is your favourite player in here, man? If you had to pick one, I know it's really difficult to pick one, but who stands out?
Well, even like when I was doing the film, Pat Jennings, because he was like the wise man. He was funny. He has that kind of wry, sardonic, but, you know, avuncular, everything about Pat Jennings, and the guy who played him was spot on. I mean, if you
Paul
look at the
Kennedy.
back, Paul Kennedy,
Paul
if you look
Kennedy
at the back of Paul
yeah.
Kennedy, and it was lovely because on the night that we did the premiere, Paul Kennedy and Pat, and there was standing as an armory Pat, and he was just like a child. You know, he'd met his hero because they were. I mean, they really were like heroes to these young lads. Well, obviously, look at you.
They were a hero to me. And, you know, it's amazing to look back upon this time. As you say, it was the middle of the Troubles.
Yeah.
And we had this amazing event that happened, the World Cup in 1986. And you've brought it to life on the silver screen. So, Mary, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shooting for Socrates opens on the 5th of June.